be shaved. That's fine with me.
And we are live, folks. Welcome to the Sit Down Standard Podcast, the podcast celebrating all the amazing things you can do while sitting, whether it's enjoying movies, watching television, or playing games. I am one of your hosts, David Bray. I'm joined, as always, by Gerald Bales.
Hi.
And Jordan Peterson.
That's Mr. Jordan Peterson to you.
And we have a special guest today. Chuck Richardson is here with us. How are you today?
I'm good. How you doing?
Wait. That's Chuck McGuck. That's not just Chuck Richardson. Okay?
And we also have something else new. Hopefully we can get this video up. Hopefully everything works just the way it's supposed to. But hello out there. We're one step closer to our television show, right, Jordan?
Yeah, we actually have viewers now.
I know.
You can view us.
I can say view us now.
We might not be viewers, but you can view us.
Exactly. And I'll put some the YouTube video, if it ends up working out and everything goes according as planned, in the show notes. So we'll check that out.
How much time do you spend on this, David?
Way too much time. Way too much time. So hopefully it works and hopefully everyone's enjoying it. If not, leave comments that I'm terrible in the down below.
I would say
you don't want to ask for YouTube comments, do you?
No, I do.
That's a rabbit hole you don't want to go down.
I would say you need a hobby, but I guess this is it.
Yeah, this is kind of my hobby. All right, so we will start the show first by giving some props to our sponsor, which is, now I can actually show the book, 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten. They are a nonprofit charity that helps with child literacy, and the goal is simple. Read 1,000 books before your kid gets to kindergarten, your newborn infant or a toddler. Now, Gerald, does that sound difficult?
No, not at all.
I love this. Jordan's already freaking out because he hasn't done the math.
I forgot again.
Jordan
does every week.
How many Harry Potter books were there?
7?
7?
Yeah, that's a hard number. How come it's not 10?
Man, do it like
just do it 100 times.
57 times.
Perfect. That's
Somebody
almost
can correct me later.
right. But it is very easy, and the good thing is that you can read books over again. So like the small books that only have a couple pages, we actually bought a baby lit book for a friend just this week, and I think it had like 12 words in it. So
just read Goblet of Fire over and over again, because that book's the best of the series.
Exactly. But again, you can find out all their great stuff on their website, 1000booksbeforekindergarten.org, and we want to thank them again. They've got reading logs. Check it out. You can even go on there state by state. They have libraries listed to see which library is participating in the program. And again, thank you. Now we will move on to the first part of every show. What you doing? I ran out of ideas.
I was going to say, I thought we did that one.
I ran out
You're
of
like,
ideas.
every week I'm going to have a new one.
I ran out of ideas. Okay,
Because
listen.
you're spending all this time on this lighting and stuff. You're going to be thinking of a good What You Doing song.
Listen, there's not that many What You Doing songs.
Make it up.
You can make as many as you need to.
What you doing?
Okay, there you go. We need someone to send in bumpers. That's what we actually need. We would be more than happy to someone send us some radio bumpers. Anyways, we'll start with Gerald. Gerald, what you doing?
Well, it's no surprise. Playing some Halo.
Nice.
Halo 5. But other than that...
Week 7?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's a lot of Halo. But I'm reading some comics. They have Halo comics that bridge the story from 4 to 5.
Oh, thank God. I was worried. What was going on between
as a Halo fan, I was worried. I didn't know what was going on.
How big are these books?
There were like 27 issues of the specific comic, but they're in volumes.
Okay.
So I'm reading just volume 1. I think it's like the first 6 books or something. But they're normal comic size. But yeah, they're good.
They're good. Cool. Anything else?
I watched Ash vs. Evil Dead.
How was that?
The show premiered on Stars. Really good.
See, I watched...
Cheesy good. It's excellent.
It looks just entertaining throughout.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch the Evil Dead, especially like Army of Darkness and Evil Dead 2, the corny ones, you'll love this show.
Awesome. And that's on Stars?
Stars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kind of an interesting
But
network.
it's really good for Stars, because I don't really watch any of the other shows, but this is really
What else
really
do
good.
they have? I don't even know of anything.
They have the one with Patrick Stewart where he's...
Oh, he's like a television producer.
Yeah,
yeah, I've heard
it's
about
really
that.
funny,
Yeah, I heard
actually.
he's really funny.
I haven't
He's
seen
always
any.
great on all like the Family Guy and American Dad. He's always great on
They have the pirate one too, right? Black
Flag? No, that's an
Assassin's
Assassin's Creed. Close enough.
I don't know.
It's something like that.
Yeah, but anyway, Jordan, what you doing?
Oh, well, I'm going to give you guys a second. Retro gaming.
Nice.
What? NES. I've been playing some NES games. I played Legacy of the Wizard. Did you guys ever play Legacy of
There's
the
a wizard on the moon.
No.
It is so impossible. That game is absolutely unplayable. I was texting my brother about it. I was like, how did we do anything when we were kids in this game? It is impossible. I played it for like hours and I got absolutely nowhere. In fact, I got myself stuck to the point where I just had to turn the game off because I could not get out of the place I got to. It is impossible.
What kind of game is it?
It's like... I don't even know.
Is it a platformer?
Adventure game?
No, it's a platformer, but it's like it's kind of a puzzle game. You have like your wizards,
Right, got it.
Shocking.
And you have a legacy.
So you have magic, you have health, you have when you go around, you kill these bad guys, they drop like gold or whatever. And as you travel around, there's like little inns or stores, and you can go into them. But it's just like one big puzzle, and you just get lost. There's just nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. You travel to one place. So I found a character that is like a monster that you can be, and so he's not hurt by any monsters. So I'm invulnerable. So I'm not getting hurt. And I still have no idea what to do. I still have no clue what to do. So I was texting my brother. He's like, yeah, I just played that game. He's like, I'm going to start it again. And he went through the walkthrough. And even with the walkthrough, he was like, I don't know what to do.
Oh, like
you just couldn't get anywhere. And apparently people do. I don't know. There's a dragon that's enclosed in this like prison. Somehow if you get a sword, you can fight him. I've never gotten that far. Even Game Genie with all the
even with all the cheats, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Sounds
So
like a great
I
game.
immediately, after like 3 hours of being frustrated, I moved on and I played Kid Nicky. Do you guys remember that game?
For what?
Ninja NES.
Okay, Kid Nicky.
Kid Nicky. It was just you're like a ninja and you go through all these levels and you just fight other ninjas. And I beat that game, which was pretty awesome. And then Defender of the Crown, I beat that one too. I did that last night. Do you guys play Defender of the Crown?
How much time did you spend playing NES games?
I spent some time. Well, so it turns out twins go to sleep around 7, and then I get like from 7 to 10 to play NES games.
You need to buy an Xbox One, man.
Yeah, you need to buy an Xbox.
No reason. I love these games and they're free. And I can just play them on my laptop all day long. And I'll be honest, the only reason I can beat them is because I can save state. So
so in the middle of the game?
Yeah, so I'll get to a certain point, and then like I know I'm going to die. I hit save state, and then when I die, I just
rinse and
reload
repeat,
right back to that point. So, but yeah, Defender of Crown, you're like Robin Hood character, and you get to like battle for land, and you have to take over this whole land. It's pretty fun. You sword fight, you joust. There's not enough jousting games out there anymore.
There's a game called Joust.
Oh, well, I never played it.
What?
That was like old school arcade.
Yeah,
right?
Joust is great.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Atari.
It's like flying ostriches.
Oh,
It has
I thought
nothing.
you meant a new game called
No.
Joust.
It's an old school game
Oh,
called
yeah.
Joust. It's
Well, I'll
one
have
of
to
the.
look it up then. I don't know. I never played
It's like that and Centipede are like the two starters for everybody. It's interesting. You've never played Joust.
No, not a
Anyways,
starter for me.
Not
but,
any more starters for anybody.
Yeah, starter now is like Halo 4.
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much just playing those old NES games, trying to beat games I didn't beat when I was 10.
Nice.
And yeah, having a good time. So Chuck, what you doing?
Chuck McGuck.
Chuck McGuck.
Well, I'm super busy, but when I do get a chance to sit down, I've been enjoying like speedrun videos.
Nice.
I'm
Love
going on
those.
YouTube. I find it fascinating how people spend like
Months.
years of
Yeah.
their life,
Yeah.
years
Ugh.
figuring out how to break these games. And it's cool because to get it that fast, there's still some skill involved.
Of course.
And like one guy will like find a new glitch in something, and then the whole community comes back up for a game like Ocarina of Time or something.
Games are like 20, 30 years old.
I watched one recently for Ocarina of Time. We were talking about that a couple podcasts ago. It's crazy. They just they totally break the game,
they
but
break
it's
the games.
amazing what they do.
Well, I remember back in the day, like NES games, because I was watching one with Kid Chameleon, and someone was doing a speed run. And I remember games back in the day would give you bonuses for finishing the level quickly. So it was like a lot of the speed runs aren't just about how quickly you do it. It's also like how many points you get in addition to finishing the game quickly. So like they would bounce on certain things at certain times. It's crazy. I can't imagine the frustration of missing, like getting like 99% of the way through and then like just missing it. And then you have to start completely over.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's, I'd probably kill myself.
When these speedruns are competitions and stuff, right? With other people in
Well,
the community.
yeah, I mean,
so.
the ones I watch are more like the marathon ones. They're not so much competition. They're raising money for like cancer for the
I've
most
seen
part.
a couple of those on Twitch and stuff.
And it's funny because like sometimes they're always like sitting on a couch playing, and it looks like a ballroom or something like that.
That's always kind of
And
interesting.
like sometimes the people they don't even know that are next to them, and you can tell like they're really annoyed by this guy as they try to play. Like one time they have a guy where they take when they take donations, people can comment on it, and they'll like tell the guy next to him do jumping jacks, and you see he's really frustrated because he's trying to get through this game.
Oh, and
this guy's over here doing jumping jacks.
He's like, seriously, I remember watching one where it was like a competition, and you could tell the parts that were more difficult because like everybody in the room just kind of gets quiet, and then as soon as they do it, everyone cheers, and then,
Everyone
like and then
claps.
it gets quiet again.
They call it serious time. They're like, all right, serious time now, and everybody goes,
But yeah, what games were you watching? Just do you know any specifically?
Well, like Ocarina of Time, Zelda 2, Adventure of Link.
People speedrun that game?
It's crazy. Like, they break it so bad that you can't see the floors anymore, but you still got to jump over pits and fight enemies.
Oh, so it's like time.
It's extremely timed.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And
The game is bad enough by itself, let alone trying to speedrun it
I
and
couldn't
stuff.
imagine that takes forever.
and it's best when they have somebody to talk about it, because like if you're just watching, you're like, what is going on?
Yeah,
but when
telling
there's
you
a
what they're
commenter,
doing. Yeah.
But most of like the world record ones, a lot of them are just playthroughs. You don't get to hear them talk about it, so it's more fun almost to watch the ones that aren't the fastest, but they sit there and explain why everything's happening.
Cool.
Why isn't there somebody just voicing over it? Later?
There's commentators and stuff.
I know, just saying, do it later. Do
Some
it
people
post.
are willing to do that.
Post. Send it to me. I'll comment. I'll be like, wow, that was some crazy ass shit.
Just have a director's cut at the end.
Yeah. I'll comment it. Let me know.
All right.
Like
So
the
now,
Honey Badger video.
all right. So this is the part where you tell me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
what are
we
you
got
doing,
guests.
David?
There you go.
Actually, not much. Mostly trying to set all of this up, including the video. So hopefully, I'm really hoping that this actually works. This whole thing is held together with like rubber band
I don't like
and bubble
excuses,
gum.
David. What have you been doing?
Well, in addition to that, I did play a game. I did play a new game. It's called Gunpoint. I played it on Steam. It's kind of it's a spy, since we ran into the spy thing last week, and I played it. It's a platformer, but it's got a mechanic of puzzle to it. It's awesome. It's a fantastic game. It's going to be difficult for me to explain.
When did it come out?
2013. So it's only a few years old. It's really cool because it has this mechanic of you take sensors throughout the level, and like you would hit the switch and that'll open a door somewhere else. So you have the ability to hack into the system, so when you hit the switch it does something else. So you use that as like a puzzle mechanic where it'll turn off the lights and where a guard is, and then the guard will go over to the wall switch to turn it on, and then when he hits that it'll electrify him and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
It's really, really cool. It's got like a story to it too, like a real deep story into it, but I wasn't really involved in that. But it was very, very good. So that's pretty much all I've been doing.
So when they were talking, you just click A.
What do you mean?
You don't want to hear the stories,
No.
and you're just like, A.
Which is
Yeah,
weird
well,
because
yeah.
normally I'm really into story, but I guess with that particular game I wasn't. And it's really hard because you cannot be seen. If you get seen, shot on sight, like it's one, yeah. What's cool, it does have your mechanic where when you die, it says, do you want to go back 4 seconds? Do you want to go back 9 seconds? Do you want to go
that's
back
nice.
15 seconds? So it's got a cool mechanic of quick respawn because you die a lot because it's kind of trial and error. But it's an excellent game. It's called Gunpoint. Check it out. I think it's like $5 on Steam. It's fantastic. And of course, they have a ton of DLC and all that stuff for it too. But I just played the standard game. All right. Now that we're through what you're doing, now we will go into the ultimate of ultimates. What are our top 5 video games of all time? Okay. And go ahead. What are you going to say,
No,
Jordan?
it's just impossible. It's impossible.
Yeah,
it's
it's
impossible.
super hard.
It's impossible.
Okay, there's a couple criteria here. One is that you could not select a collection, meaning like Mario All-Stars, or I think there was a Zelda collection or a Mega Man collection.
I'll take my
Master
Warcraft
Chief
battle
collection.
chest off my list.
So you can't select a collection. That was one of the requirements that we had. And I think first what we'll do is we'll kind of go around the table and talk about what was the criteria, because again, this was not easy. I think generally one of my number 5 is still up in the air. When you guys when we get to me, I will have made the decision. It's like when you order food. Go ahead and all you guys order, and then I'll figure it out. All right. So Mike, do you want me? I'll start with Chuck. He's the guest. Let's start with Chuck. Chuck, what was your criteria for developing your top 5?
It really just came down to where I could think about having fun, where it was like, I just got to play this game more and more. I get home and looking forward to playing that game. So, it's a nostalgia a bit.
Yeah.
Some of my games may not be like the technically best games out there, but it's what I had the most fun with. That's what I really had to argue with. In my head, I can say, people say this is great, people say that is great, but it's really what I thought I had the most fun playing.
Right.
I have to say, I'm most excited to hear what Chuck. Okay, because we've known Chuck like 15
Yeah,
years.
probably.
So, I mean, I've known Chuck as long as I've known David. So, whatever we figured out last time. When we wanted to play a new video game, we went to Chuck's house.
That's right.
Because he had every single
He still
new
does.
video game,
Yeah, we do.
every single system. It was just the best place. I mean, me and David would just sit on his couch. Chuck wouldn't even be home, and his mom
you have a
would
key, right?
his mom would walk in and be like, "Where's?" And she would call Chuck. She'd call him Charles. Well, where's Charles? I don't know.
I don't know. We're
playing
because they
grab me a cream soda. I don't know where he is,
Right.
but we're knees deep into Mario Galaxy, and we don't have time for this. And so we loved Chuck's house. It was the best. It had the best food,
Exactly.
the best drinks, and the best video games. So it was always awesome. So I'm excited to hear what your top 5
This
is.
was a hard one. It's like a hard
It
one to
is
join in
hard.
on. I mean,
It's like David said it. It's
I
like
didn't have a lot of time. I've been stressing over
It's like
this.
choosing children.
It really is. That's like because I'm like, but I still love you, number 6, but you didn't make it. But okay, so that was kind of, you had the nostalgia feel. Kind of what was yours? What was your criteria, Jordan?
For me, it was just I've been playing the same games for years and years and years. You know, I play the retro games and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't really have any of the new stuff to influence my decisions. It's just the games that I keep playing over and over and over again. So for me, that's what it was. Is what do I want to play again and again and again and again and again? I never get tired of these games. So.
Right.
That was my criteria.
Okay. Gerald?
Mine's almost a mix of both. Like, every game on my list, if someone's like, hey, would you play this right now? Totally. Every single game on my list I would play right now, no matter how old it is. And same thing with the nostalgia thing. A lot of my games aren't maybe the best rated games of all time. One is, definitely. But the other ones are just like, I just remember fond memories of playing these games, so that influences a lot of decisions I made.
Now, don't get me wrong, but none of my games are like low-rated games.
Yeah, I don't think any of mine are either. But still, like, if I could think back to the story or memories playing these games,
Fatal Frame is not your number 1. Just kidding.
But yeah, they're all just excellent games.
One of my games might be actually my number 1 game might be low rated. I don't know. I love it though. I don't care.
David, what about you?
Okay, so mine is I understand what you're saying about would I play it right now, but there are games, and there's a couple games I think on here that I would probably not want to play again, because the experience that I had playing it for the first time and finishing it is the experience I want to have forever. So it's, but most of them are.
Like, you won't get surprised again by like twists or story turns or all that kind of stuff. That makes sense.
Right. And the other thing too is asking me now what my 5 favorite games are completely and utterly different than if you would have asked me even 5, maybe even 10 or even 15 years ago, just because what I enjoy in gaming now is my tastes are completely different. Like, I'll go and play a game that I know I would have loved as 12-year-old David, and I don't enjoy it anymore. It's just monotonous and kind of boring. But we'll get into that. So
that speaks about you.
I know, you got to keep your inner youth alive. I love everything I played as a 12-year-old.
I still enjoy it. But it has more of that nostalgia feel to it than what I would enjoy now. It doesn't mean it's not. I wouldn't enjoy it, quote unquote. I'm going to use quotes, and no one. See, we have to make visual jokes. Like, isn't that shirt funny?
I know.
So people on
look at this.
Yeah, so people on the podcast will be forced to go to YouTube. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, for the games I had that I absolutely loved, but it's not the ones I play over and over again because I already did it. I didn't include them on the list.
Okay, all right. So now we will start, and since
just same order.
No. We're gonna move it. We're gonna mix around. Okay.
First, likes to mix it up.
Yeah, I like to mix it up. Come on. All right. Since Jordan's staring at his phone, we'll start with Jordan.
I got
Jordan.
the list.
All right, Jordan. What is your number 5 favorite video game of all time?
If you look at my list, number 5 is blank, but I do know what it is. It has to be Mario 64.
Okay,
wow.
Excellent
That
choice.
almost made my cut. Man.
Mario 64 was just it was my first 64 game. Actually,
it came with the system, right?
No,
some of them
didn't because they were sold out. So we actually got the system with Wave Race, I believe.
Oh, like the
Wave
jet
Race
ski.
64.
Yeah, Wave Race 64.
Okay.
And then we had to wait for Mario 64. But my brother loved Wave Race, but I just love Mario was the great. It brought in obviously the third dimension, but just overall, just the dimension of it, playing the levels over and over again with different goals, different unique characters that would come in. You'd race the Koopa or the big bombs,
Red coins.
Penguin.
Red coin. Yeah, there was just
Jump in that painting.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and just like finding new, and there were secrets, and then like if you got all the stars, you got Yoshi and the caps. Do you guys remember the first time you got the flying cap?
The
triple jump. That was new enough.
Yeah, wall kicking and stuff. I don't think you did that before. It was
a lot of things you didn't do before.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was just it was a change of the way to look at video games. We
Right.
didn't have that 3D feel before. Everything was 2-dimensional, and it really brought you into a game. There were just so many awesome variables. It has to make the list. I have so many awesome. I have 25 games on my list, and I had an area, but I was like, I can't not have Mario 64 on the list
Right.
because it's just. I would play it right now. I would stop this pod. I would just knock my mic down over and go play if it was an option.
How much time did you spend pulling his face and stuff before you played the actual?
Oh yeah, tons of
Right?
time.
I remember that.
And
Yeah,
just different secrets. It was such a great game. It was so much fun.
I think that's one of the few games that I've had that experience of like it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, meaning it was so revolutionary. Like, because now games come out and I'm like, oh, that looks really beautiful and like the mechanics look really cool. But that game, there's a couple times when I saw like an arcade game that I played in an arcade at someone's house. That moment of like, holy moly! And then Mario 64, and then there's a couple other games that I had that moment, but Mario 64 is definitely there.
Yeah, it was just so.
Yeah, it was like one of the only 3 64 games for like the first year.
Yep.
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah, it was like Wave Race, Mario, and Pilot Wings.
Pilot Wings. Oh, that game sucked.
I like Pilot Wings.
That's pretty confident of them. They're like, yeah, that's
And
all we need.
I mean, and that's considered one of the greatest systems with some of the greatest games.
Yep.
And that was like one of the only ones for the first year of that thing.
But yeah, but you could tell by even, I mean, the moment anyone looked at it, they just had to have that system. I mean, 64 was one of the greatest for our generation. I'm sorry, David.
I played it enough. I just didn't own one.
I know.
And that's actually one thing I wanted. We'll talk about later. But yeah, I didn't own one. So
But yeah, it was great. I'm
Okay.
sorry you missed that.
It was so good.
It was amazing.
It was so good.
All right.
Every game was just revolutionary, and that was the first one, and I loved it.
okay, now we'll move on to Chuck. Chuck McGuck, what is your number 5? Got the list. All right. Here we
Yeah,
go.
I got the list.
Oh, yours is printed out.
It seems really long. I don't understand how there's only 5 on there.
I had to write some notes and everything about it.
All right. What is your number 5?
So it's Mario Kart Wii.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
You know,
Interesting.
I wanted to go with the Mario Kart. That's my favorite one. I
Really?
will beat anyone in it. I have no doubt about that.
I have lost so many games, competitive games to you.
Chuck
It's-
is
I mean,
really good at
It
video
introduced motorcycles, which is like my favorite thing in a Mario Kart
Yeah.
game. It introduced online play, so I could see how I was against other people.
because you beat all of us.
The
There was no
comfort-
competition
Yeah,
anymore.
it's rare. It's
Gotta
hard to
step it
find
up.
competition for me.
Yeah, exactly.
The comfort of the Wiimote with it, being able to actually sit back and spread my arms while I'm playing, like
Yeah.
all that stuff really affected it. The flipping the thing to do flips. I mean, it's an all-time great. You can pick it up right now, and we can all 4 play.
Yeah.
It's a party starter sometimes. It was.
Yeah, it was fun. Did you play with the wheel or did you just rock the Wiimote?
I mean, I played with the wheel sometimes, but
you preferred just the,
Oh,
the
yeah.
remote. Okay.
The wheel was cheap. Anyway.
Oh, it
I mean,
was.
it
I
was
mean-
just putting the remote in a thing that you held and turned. It wasn't like
Dude,
it
it's-
didn't feel like a real wheel.
I know, but did because I didn't play. I'll be honest, I didn't play a lot of the Mario Kart Wii. My background was the one on Super Nintendo. So
Right.
I think it was called Super Mario Kart, or maybe it was just called Mario Kart.
I'm sure it was called Super. Everything was.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
Super Mario Kart.
So did some of the characters? Because I remember everyone wanted to be Toad and no one wanted to be somebody else. Because like, did they have like little unique
Oh,
differences between the two?
well,
of
there's
them?
like a small, a medium, and a large, pretty
Okay.
much. So there's 3 different types. There wasn't quite like a Toad. Toad was the one to be always.
Yeah,
And
Toad's
Koopa,
the best.
The
Koopa
2
was-
small
I
ones,
like
they were the
Koopa.
ones to be in the Super Nintendo one. And it was hard to choose between all the Mario Karts. That's just the one
Rainbow
I
Road,
had the
man.
most fun. You know, when it went to that really high def, you know, it looked great.
Yeah.
I see. I love the Mario Kart 64 one. It almost made my list, but it didn't make it.
That Double Dash or was that
Double
the
Dash.
GameCube?
No, that's
that's
GameCube.
GameCube.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
No, the regular one where like the multiplayer was so much fun with the balloons on the
Oh,
back
yeah,
and
yeah.
you guys would and you
The battle.
the blocks and stuff and the donut level. And I loved the Nintendo 64 one, but not enough to make top 5.
All right, Gerald, what was your number 5?
All right. This game came out in 1998 for the PC
Okay.
from Blizzard. Starcraft Brood War.
Okay, so that's
expansion to Starcraft.
but that's a own separate game.
Well, it's an expansion to the
expansion
first
to-
one.
Yeah,
so-
but I played Brood War hours on hours on hours when I should be sleeping because I was in school. But I just remember playing online on Battle.net. I remember we had Net Zero, the free internet, and
Yeah.
like the bar would be at the top because it's always stayed on top of the game.
Yeah.
And you'd accidentally click it and it would like minimize your game,
Screw
or
it up.
you'd be playing online, someone pick up the phone, disconnect.
Mom, don't pick up the phone.
But just that game, I mean, I played RTS before, like Red Alert and stuff like that. But that was
Yeah.
the first game. It was more 3D, and it was just the story was excellent. It's just love.
Now-
the first Blizzard game that just took me into that.
In that game, what faction did you play as most?
Protoss all the way.
Okay, because it's Protoss, human, and then Zerg.
Terran.
Whatever. Terran. Yes. I played a lot of StarCraft, so yeah, definitely a good game. Were you more of an online guy, or did you?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
I mean,
so-
I still played the campaigns and the single player stuff, but I played online a lot.
I just
A
remember
lot.
Blizzard's all their cutscenes were just like amazing.
That's where it started with StarCraft, was the really amazing cutscenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I bought StarCraft 2 like a couple of years back when it came out, and I never played StarCraft 1, but I loved Warcraft. But and
StarCraft
I was like,
yeah.
I don't know. I just loved Warcraft more.
Yeah, I play it now, like StarCraft 2 and the expansions that have come out, and like I'll play the campaigns, but online I just get crushed. Like it is not
Yeah.
fun.
Well, watching like the video is kind of the same thing with the competition speedruns. Like you have to map everything to the keyboard. Like
Yeah, there's some very specific builds, and
Yeah, and
if
it's
you miss
about
a
timing.
second,
Yeah,
It's
it's all
just
about
you're
timing.
over.
Take it all too seriously. That's why I like the lower level, the entry level.
If you're making thousands of dollars doing it, you
no,
know,
if you're
They
making
still
money,
play
you need to
Brood
be
War.
good.
hundreds of thousands.
They
soon
still
as we
play
s-
Brood War in South Korea and stuff in competitions to
Yeah.
this day.
In South Korea.
Oh, in Korea they get crazy over stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
David, what's your number 5?
Okay.
You just wrote it down.
Yeah,
I just wrote it down.
Oh, man.
My number 5 is Counterstrike 1.6 for the PC. Came out in 1999. Well, Half-Life episode. Well,
Yeah.
But not Half-Life. I mean, I like Half-Life, the game, but
that is why I was always confused between what the difference between Half-Life and
it was just
Counter-Strike.
it was essentially originally I think a mod, and
mod.
then and then Valve came in and like said, "Wow, this is amazing," and actually licensed it or not licensed. I don't know if they they helped publish it and
Yeah.
work on it.
They paid them guys that made it. Is what happened.
Yeah, exactly. I played that game. That game I've probably played more overall hours wise than any other game. Any game, probably multiple games combined. Probably you could take all these games on my list on the next 4, add them up, and I probably still played more Counter-Strike. We used to play so much. When I think of a LAN party, I think of
Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike. Now, I wasn't very good at it, I'll be honest. I played with Chuck again, so like
Damn Chuck.
but my favorite thing about that game was once you died, you would follow another player.
I hated that.
No, I loved it because we would actually make phone calls. I think like we would be in different rooms and then we would call. We would be on the phone, like old school phone, like cord, like holding it like this,
Like
playing.
that,
And then see now for the video, it makes sense. We can actually show people. You have the phone tucked against
Yeah, in your-
taco
in your
neck,
shoulder,
taco
your-
neck style, and we would tell each other, okay, he's coming around the corner. Like so, there was actually like cheating involved with talking to each other on the phone, which was so cool. I mean, games don't do that anymore, but and then it got too carried away. Then they came out with a bunch of mod like cheats and stuff like that, where you could like if someone would come right behind the wall and headshot. And
Oh,
then it
the
was,
auto headshots.
Yeah.
Called aimbot, yeah.
yeah, and then they eventually came to get rid of that. But that's when I started. Oh, it's still there.
Oh yeah.
Well, Global Offensive is excellent.
But the best thing about it, when that all came out, like if you would get killed, like legitimately, you'd be like, oh, clearly they have an aimbot. I'm not terrible at the game. It's them cheating.
Hacks.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, DE Dust, Aztec, Office, all of those were great. So that's my number 5, and that was chosen like literally right when I said it.
I remember my friends and I, we didn't have good enough PCs to play Counter-Strike, but we'd go to one of those grungy LAN places where you
Internet
pay
cafe.
like $1 an hour. They smell like BO and they're just gross.
The keyboards are nasty.
Yeah, and you go there and you just play for like 4 hours after school or something like that. Oh, it's
All right.
great.
Well,
I
now
hated
we'll-
that game, just so you all know. I think I've gone over it. I die immediately, and I watch other people play, and it sucks.
Maybe you should be better at that game.
Yeah,
Try sucking
I never
less. That's the
cared.
saying.
Exactly.
I just never cared. To
Yeah,
get
I wasn't
better.
very good at it either, but I enjoyed it.
I didn't like
nonetheless.
first-person shooters, period, because of that until Halo.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on to our number 4. Jordan.
Oh, I get to go first every time.
Actually,
Okay.
you know what? No, I'm going to mix it
No.
up. No, since you
Okay,
wanted to
okay.
be first.
Eh?
Chuck, you can go first. What's your number 4, Chuck? Number 4 of all
This
time.
is probably gonna annoy Jordan. It's Rock Band 2.
Nice.
I mean, I've probably put more hours in that game than anything, and it's got me fitter than any other game did.
Yeah.
I mean, I already love drums. I play the drums, and
Me and Chuck
Man,
used to
just-
rock out back in the day.
we would
Not
sit
rock
in a
band,
room
real
like
rock.
this size, 4 of us playing.
Dude, this is a
game.
giant studio. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
uh-huh.
Don't give away. Don't give
Yeah.
away the magic. This is filmed at like a professional studio.
With instruments. You know, you get crazy and hit the fan up in the
Yeah, it's awesome.
ceiling.
I just remember the drumsticks that came with them. Like I broke those immediately.
Oh, you just hear click, 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 click.
My brother had to get those. They sold pads, right, that you put onto the.
Well, that was later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock Band 2 didn't quite have that one on it. But Rock Band 2 did have like the biggest set list that it came with. It came with like 84 songs.
Mm-hmm.
And it came out to be like 1,400 by the end. So there was so much you could play on it. I
I
mean,
spent
it
so
taught
much
me
money on that
timing.
game.
It helped. I mean, we even took a practice drum pad that we went and bought from like a music store.
Yeah.
And we put a sensor inside of it from one of the kits. And we used a real pedal that had a thumper on it that you
Nice.
use on a real kit. And we set it up. It worked. It didn't work very good. It wasn't as good as a regular pedal. But we were tired of buying those things because we broke like
They
4
always
of
broke,
them.
yeah.
Yeah, the pedal I duct taped together.
No, I thought that if you were into the drum, which I'm horrible drummer, I'm
Same here, yeah.
horrible at drumming in real life on the game and everything that stuff. But I was like, if you were into drumming, this is at least it's realistic because you're gonna train yourself on being a better drummer by doing this because
Right.
you're just getting the coordination down and the timing and everything like that. Unlike with the guitar, where
It's
you're
obviously
only
not
using
like a
4
guitar.
or 5 buttons and it's just not the same.
Now, I remember yelling at people during this game because, like, you be going and then the singer can't keep up and kills the whole thing.
So like a real band, you're like, get your crap together, man. Come on.
I'm tired of playing this song like 500 times in a row because this guy can't do it.
Do you hear they're booing us? They're booing us.
How do you
put it
not
on?
get the
Put it on
singing
medium.
down?
Stop
You
on the
just-
expert.
No, because the singing
When you're
had
singing like "Run to the Hills," that run to the, it gets crazy.
Yeah, but does it match your tone, or does it
No,
just?
I don't
No,
think
it
it
does.
gotta-
It does. You have to hit the octaves.
I just yeah. Now, real quick, my
I didn't
number.
play it. I
Real
hated
quick,
it.
I don't want to interrupt, but my number 4 is also Rock Band 2. So I'll just continue the conversation
fair
here.
enough.
I do remember with Rock Band 2, we ended up buying the fog machine. I think I talked about this.
It's awesome.
fog
That thing
machine?
is great.
Yeah, they have lights too.
lights,
awesome.
lights, and
That
fog.
coordinate with the music.
Yeah. And so
Deep.
the
into
funny
Rock
thing,
Band
yeah,
world.
it was actually really awesome. But we turned it on, and we were kind of in a small room, not unlike this room, which is gigantic. It was a small room, and yeah, it filled up with smoke real quick. Like, couldn't see your hand in front of your face, but you could see these flashing lights, and we were still playing. We're like,
concert.
just keep looking, look through the smoke. But yeah, absolutely fond memories of that game. Now, I do agree. I spent way too much money on that game.
Yeah, I've
probably
spent so much money
much
on songs
money.
and stuff.
easily like
I've never
500.
played.
Right, and but I played that stupid Weezer song, "Say It Ain't So."
I hate that song
Yeah.
to this day.
Yeah,
Because
So
of Rock
boring.
Band? Or?
Yes. Oh, yes.
yeah. So that's the only thing about Rock Band that I didn't like. And there's a couple songs that I love now because of Rock Band, which is great. Like I always loved the Foo Fighter song "Everlong," but that drum thing. But my wife was excellent at drumming too. It's crazy. It's just awesome. But I remember my dad coming over. He played drums when he was younger, and he's like this. He was kind of the opposite. He's like, this doesn't make sense because he was trying to cross his arms, and you don't really want to. You can do that in the game, but you really shouldn't. But
If you get like the cymbal kit, it works a little bit.
I bought the
that's a
cymbal
later
kit.
one.
Oh, I forgot about the
I've
cymbal
got
kit.
the cymbal kit also.
well, then they had like a professional, like actual digital
Yeah.
drum thing that you could
I mean,
hook
it
up
was
to.
just
was a
like,
third party,
It
yeah.
was a cheap,
Third,
like
a
electronic
digital
kit. I mean,
yeah.
you could really hook it to an amplifier and play with it.
Yeah.
It was called the Ion, I think.
But that game, those games, the reason they were great is they gave you like there was a moment where like reality slipped and you really did think like you were rocking out. Like I was about to kick something over and like
Well, if you're drumming with a
drums is
real
clear.
drum kit, then you are rocking out. They're
I'd end
just
up
telling you when to
sweating,
hit.
you know?
I do appreciate the value of the drums for that game, even though I hate the game.
all right. So that's me and Chuck's number 4.
I liked how you coordinated that. You guys both got number 4.
Yeah,
Good job.
yeah.
Yeah, that was well done on the coordination without talking about it.
All right. So now we will
appreciate that.
move to Gerald's number 4. Gerald, what's your number 4
All
game?
right, this came out in 1998.
Wow, a lot of
Same year, I think.
Yeah.
Good year for video games, 1998. From Nintendo on the Game Boy, Pokemon Red.
I thought about putting Pokemon on my list.
See, I
and
didn't
make
play any of the
I-
Pokemons.
Red is
What?
the one
Red
I had as well.
Red or blue, either one works. For
Okay,
me.
Red is my favorite color, so that's why I got red. But you know.
Was there a difference?
Yeah, there's different Pokemon you can get, and you could trade
Then
back.
you
It was
then
like
get them all together.
20 different
But
ones.
you needed both.
Now this game was for the Game Boy, just regular.
Came out for the original
Color.
Game Boy, and then they came out for Game Boy
like the
Color
black
version.
and white Game Boy.
I think it came out
No,
for
I thought it started with the Game Boy Advance.
No. So Red and
anything, it
Blue
would make
came
it
out on the
color,
regular
but-
Game Boy, and then Pokemon Yellow,
Was
which
it
is pretty much the same
color?
Game Boy with Pikachu following you, came
Yeah.
out on the Game Boy Color.
Oh, okay. Well,
And
I
how
had a
ma-
color when I played. It was red.
Yeah, you can still play it on color. They came out, I think.
Well,
they
yeah, that
released
was
it.
backwards compatible.
I never had a regular one, so.
Yeah, I
Gold
played.
brick.
Yeah, I didn't have the brick. I got the color in like 8th grade. I think it was 98, actually 8th grade. That's
Yeah.
when I got the color, and I got Pokemon Red.
But so many hours. That was like the first. I mean, it was a puzzle game, and it was a strategy game, and it was a multiplayer
RPG,
game because
yeah.
you need to figure out, friends. I need to trade my my Haunter. I need Gengar. Come on, we need to trade.
So
Or
you
you
would,
fight. You know?
Yeah, or you battle, of course.
so you would literally trade creatures from your other friend's saved game on another Game Boy?
Yeah.
you'd
How did
link-
they
and
do?
blue.
Oh,
System
with
link
the,
cable.
well,
You'd
with
link-
the
you had a
actual-
link
Had the
cable.
System link cable.
Yeah.
See,
But there were specific Pokemon, like you had a Machoke. He could only. Excuse me.
I'm just trying to make sure you're not screaming.
Don't touch me.
You're getting really excited about Pokemon.
No, but there were specific Pokemon where like he can't evolve until it's traded.
Yeah,
with somebody.
Machamp. You can't get
Yeah, you
Machamp.
can't get Machamp. You can't get Gengar. You can't get
Yeah.
Now,
We would-
Abracadabra.
now I have a
Straight.
question. What is the? I don't know the background of it. But did it start as a cartoon and then become?
No, the cartoon came after the game.
Game first.
Game first, yeah.
Okay,
for
and it was
sure.
released earlier in Japan and then came here. And
I
became-
remember
I think
having.
it was like I think it came out in '97 in Japan.
Okay, so yeah, pretty much the same time.
So like I was a nerd, but I tried my best not to be like extrovert nerd. I don't want
Yeah.
everyone to know I was a nerd. So I remember being on the bus bus and being like, "Hey, nerd, don't talk about it, but hey, you got Gengar." I'm like, let's make a deal because I got an Eevee who needs to be involved here, and I need a Thunderstone. I don't have a Jolteon yet, and I see
Okay,
you got
you've lost me. You've lost me. At this point, you could just be making it up.
And then there was the spot where you can get the glitch Pokemon, right?
Yeah,
Like going back and forth.
Number 9 or something like that.
Something weird like that. Mashingo? Was that his name?
Missing no.
Yeah.
missing no.
All right.
It was just scrambled up on the
number.
screen. It was broken.
Yeah.
But yeah, hours.
But once you
hours.
did that, you broke the game.
And that
but you would
stupid
get
truck.
I think you could get Mew that way. That's how you got Mew.
Mewtwo? I know that guy.
No, Mewtwo you could get legitimately, but Mew, I think you had to break the game to get.
No, you couldn't get Mew
couldn't get
unless
Mew
you got it
without
from
a
like
Game
a
Genie.
tournament. Or they gave him
Yeah,
a
Game
tournament.
Wait, they had a Game
thought
Genie
if you-
for the Game Boy?
Game Shark, I think.
It might have been a Game Genie.
I
Maybe.
thought that once you got missing number, you could get Mew. I don't know. I don't
Anyways,
remember. It's been a
well,
long
Missing number
time,
was
but-
like
It
that
will
is
break
Mew.
the game is what it's
That
going
was
to do.
supposed to
That
be
was
Mew,
Mew? Okay.
but like they took Mew out of the game. But they
I
left that.
swear we had Mew. But
I remember
Alright.
how many balls did you waste at the Safari Park? You know.
And then they came
Trying
out.
to get Scyther.
The Safari Park. Oh God, 34.
I can go on for hours.
I
All right,
can
we can do a
clearly tell.
Pokemon.
Did you
episode.
guys
be a
do the
long one
Pokemon
here.
Stadium?
You know we're only
Hell yeah,
at...
dude.
Pokemon
a
Stadium was
whole
a
other game, huh?
Pokemon
Alright,
Stadium, I know. Pokemon Snap. Pokemon should have been a whole. If we could have
freaking love
grouped them,
Pokemon.
I would have done Pokemon
Maybe that'll
number
be an
5.
episode someday.
All right, Jordan. What's
Wow.
your number 4?
Jordan, what is your number 4?
My number 4. Oh, I had to add in a game. I love all Final Fantasy games. You make me choose one, I'll choose it. It's 9. I
Really?
love Final
Over
Fantasy
7.
9.
Wow.
Yes. Oh well, I wasn't into 7 as much as everybody else. I didn't finish 7 all the way through. I actually started Final Fantasy with 8, and I loved 8. I went back and played 7 after that, but they were more serious. And 9 was kind of more. They brought it back down. They brought it back to more the way 5 or. It gets confusing with the fantasy numbers because
Well,
it's
it's
like
3 and
Japan, it was
6.
3 and 4, and then here it was 5 or 6 or
Right,
whatever.
but the
it
one
was.
after it, right?
But those were more, job based, and you were specifically a red mage, or you're specifically a monk, or you were this and that. And it kind of brought it back to that. There was like a Saiyan was the main character. I wasn't a Saiyan, but he was a monkey human, and it was like a Saiyan. And I love Dragon Ball Z. I love the main character. It was the first Final Fantasy that I just went all the way through it, did everything you could do, beat it completely, loved chocobos. I love it. It just brought it back to what it was that I never really played. I played those Super Nintendo ones much later, and I loved them. And since 9 was my introduction to that, it was just awesome. So yeah, Final Fantasy 9, special place in my heart for it. It's my favorite Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy has to hit your top 5 list.
Here's
This is rough. I hate Final Fantasy games.
No, I like
love
that.
them.
I love the old.
I played the first one on NES. It was one of the only NES
love that
games,
game.
and I played it for a little bit. I just don't like turn-based fighting. I can't stand it.
I had multiple on my list. I like turn-based
It's the
fighting.
classic.
Yeah, so I mean, the only turn-based game I like is like Civ, but like turn-based fighting stuff, I just can't get into any of those JRPGs that play like that.
Go ahead.
Oh, there's bad turn-based fighting where it's like there's no losing, but when you have to really think about it and really like strategize to how you're going to win this battle, it can be awesome. I enjoy turn-based fighting.
The only reason I don't like Final Fantasy IX, it has more to do with you than anything. I would come over to spend the night during, high school, and you would just play that game. It's a single-player game. And
You're
I'm
just
like,
watching. Wow,
Hey,
this is
buddy,
really
sorry.
You're like, this game's awesome.
Maybe you should have been more entertaining.
No, so I remember playing, and I just remember the long cutscenes in those games. Like when you would
Long.
summon
Oh,
a
yeah.
dragon, it would take like 45 minutes, and you're like, isn't this so cool? I'm like, I'm sitting here.
I mean, after like the 50th time you've seen it,
I'm
you're
like,
"That's
is your mom
enough
going to
of
make some Tostita pizza rolls or something? Anyways,
You're at the wrong house. That's Chuck's house.
yeah, that's true. All right, so that was your number 4?
Yeah, we're
Okay,
at number
so now
3.
we're on number 3. I'll go ahead and I'll start. Number
All
3. Hopefully I don't spoil Chuck's number 3 since we didn't coordinate all the way. My number 3 is Half-Life 2. Came out in 2004. That is the most fun I've ever had in like a PC-centric game. Because I don't think... eventually I think it came out for Orange Box, which I played it again.
Right.
But that game had such an amazing story. Like, that game blew my mind about story, about... I remember, I think it's at the very beginning, you're running along the rooftops and someone's chasing you. Mm-hmm. It had that moment of like, I felt like someone was chasing me. And that scene, plus we never go to, what's it called? Raven, what's the scary place?
Ravenhold or something, right?
Yeah, we don't go there. That scene was so creepy. And of course, the mechanics, the gravity gun, it was so awesome. And then of course the dog, the giant robot thing, and the voice acting was phenomenal. And I'm waiting desperately for them to make Half-Life 3.
It's never gonna happen.
I think they'll eventually make it.
It was essentially a horror game in the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it was. It was...
And just like the oppressive government, it felt like 1984 the game. You know what I mean? Like, it was awesome, and you have like the guy, I forget his name, but who basically turned over the Earth to the Combine and became like this leader. But he's like telling everyone, "Oh, it's fine. It's a great thing that the Combine are taking us over." But it just felt so 1984 is right up my alley, and I love the narrative of that story. So Half-Life 2.
So that was my number 3 game as well.
See? So really, it was?
Yeah.
Wow, that's you guys.
Coordinate.
Well, it's funny. Mine is Counter-Strike.
What? Oh, there you go. Oh, number 3.
1.6 or
Yes,
is there
1.6.
another Counter-Strike?
That's
but-
just
well,
the
that was the
final
first
original
source.
Counter-Strike.
So why did you like Half-Life?
Well, so Half-Life 2 to me was like the first. Well, Half-Life kind of the same way, but Half-Life 2 to me was like the first time a first-person shooter wasn't just a first-person shooter; it was an adventure game.
Right.
And like the environment you're in, it's just the story of it is just so good, and obviously the episode 1 too that followed, just everything is just so solid, and the voice acting, everything was good, and even now it holds up graphically, and it's just everything is just excellent. And
I think that was one of the. It probably isn't one of the first games, but in my mind, it was one of the first games to be able to tell such a captivating narrative without cutscenes. I mean, it's all in game. And I mean, you can, while someone's trying to tell you the part of the story, you can like jump around and jump on boxes and be
knock over coffee cups.
Yeah,
and
stuff like that. And like I always think in my head, they're like, "I'm trying to help you save the world. Why are you knocking over coffee mugs?" But that game was just absolutely fantastic, and it is really sad that they aren't going to make or
They will. It's just
When
it's gonna be one of those things where it just blows everybody's mind. They're gonna release it on VR or something like that.
yeah.
And I mean, it was modded so much in the other games that became great as well.
Yeah.
It stood the test of time and
Yep.
made new things from it.
Yeah, Team Fortress
Fortress,
was
yeah.
the
Yeah,
huge
TF2.
thing. Yeah, that was a great game. I didn't play a lot of it just because I was all about
It's
Half-Life.
fun.
Yeah, no, I played it. I played it on the Orange Box a lot, and then of course I think the same graphics created other games, which
Well,
was
Source
I'm
Engine.
sure some of them
Source
will be.
Engine is a lot of games.
Oh,
use Source.
yes. Uh-huh.
I remember like the physics in that game was like a big deal. You drop like there was like a seesaw puzzle where you had to like drop something on one side and then stand on the other. It was awesome. It was so much fun. All right, so Chuck, your number 3 was Counter-Strike.
Yeah, it's Counter-Strike. Kind
Okay.
of falls in the same line again. I mean, you already had that one. But it was really like my true entry into multiplayer online
Yeah,
gaming.
definitely.
I made friends online through that game. I had never done anything like that before. I met a guy at the cable company that juiced up my speed in my house. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was the reason I got cable internet. I remember I played at your house, and of course Chuck again had everything.
Yeah,
like,
all the best.
all the
stuff.
best stuff. And I had a dial up, and like I don't even know if you can play Counter-Strike with dial up. Maybe you can.
Yeah, you can. I
Maybe
mean,
not
it's
now.
not going to work very
Well, of
good.
course not now.
You're going to lose.
Yeah, well, that didn't save me. Yeah, it's the internet speed is why I'm losing, and they have a cheat, the head mod or the hack mod or whatever. But yeah, I think I got cable internet because I was like, "Mom, we need cable internet." And she's like, "Why?" I was like, "For school projects." But yeah, I remember when we got that installed. But you met people.
Yeah, I mean, there were games before it that were shooters. There was Quake,
Yeah.
Unreal, all that stuff. I had a lot of fun playing. But Counter-Strike just added this new element because if you died, it mattered, In the other games, you just die, you come right back. So it adds a whole new strategic element to it. It slows you down. It makes you get better if you want to play the game more. If you're not going to get better, it's going to suck.
That's
You're
why I
gonna
hate the
not
game.
enjoy It. It brought like snipers in. Like
A-dub.
camping is
the
basically
op, man.
from Counter-Strike.
And we called it ADub.
Yeah, you
AWP.
get opt.
What does opt mean?
AWP. That's the name of the gun.
Oh, I called it
Get the
ADub.
op.
Maybe we all had little unique things. I just remember lifting I think it was like a 23 inch. No, it was probably 21 inch CRT monitor around. And that thing weighed like 800 pounds. But I remember when I bought it at Comp USA, which that doesn't even exist anymore. I don't think so. But I remember I coveted that thing. Like I spent like $500 on this. It was like my first thing that I bought with my first paycheck from a job. And I remember your brother Jeff was like, 21 inches. That's so huge. Like look at this giant screen. It had a
big.
flat screen too. But the thing I remember lifting it would cut into your hands, the base, because it was so heavy, the plastic pieces. It's like, why didn't they make it flat? But they wanted to make it lighter. Oh yeah, that really helped with the weight. But yes, Counter-Strike, amazing game.
It's an amazing game. I love it. I spent hours and hours. You always knew like your server you were going to go find. It was
Yep.
usually Internet Cafe one because they had the best hosting abilities for the most part.
Yeah, I learned all about the word ping. I didn't even know.
Oh
what
yeah, that was like a word in that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And then all the cool mod maps.
The modding was
Gary's
great on
mod. I remember all that.
it. You could like make cars that you could get in and drive around.
Yeah.
They looked real silly like Legos, but it was cool.
Yeah.
and I cheated. It was fun. I had the aimbot. I had my thing hacked all up.
All right.
I know I played at your house. I played the Dragon Ball Z mod on that.
Yeah, the Dragon Ball Z
I
one was
loved
awesome.
the
You
Dragon
could
Ball
fly
Z
around
mod.
and then you just
It was
sit there and
so
get your spirit
cool.
bomb. And
Yeah, you could do all the moves. It was fun.
All right, Jordan.
Oh,
What is
shoot.
your number 3?
I think that's easy. Warcraft 2.
Oh yeah.
Excellent
Warcraft
game.
2 was amazing.
Right away, sir.
It was also my first introduction into multiplayer online gaming because you could battle each other. We would do a LAN. I would actually play against my brother and my dad, and we would just play. Well, we only had 2 computers, so it was either my brother or my dad. But yeah, so he would be on a laptop and I'd be on the computer, and we would just like race to see who could just punish the other person. And yeah, it was a lot. I mean, I was only like 12 and he was probably 30 something, so he'd smash me every time. But it was so much fun. The campaign is great. The expansion packs are great. The fact that you could be humans or orcs, and it was just like a different, complete game. It wasn't just
Zug,
like,
zug.
oh, I'm
yeah, you
changing
could click the guy
character.
and be like, hello.
Yes, my liege. Right away, sir.
Right
Can't
away.
build that. Yeah, so much fun. That is classic.
Yeah,
man.
it was great. My uncle would come over and play that game. He just loved that they called him my lord. He was like, I'll play any game that
Flicks him over and
says
over.
my lord.
I did like it when you would keep clicking and then they'd be like, stop clicking. Yeah, it was so much fun.
That's the thing that Blizzard does with the monster games now.
Yeah, they're very funny. So that's your number
Yeah,
3. Did you play any of like what you played online, right? Did you play people competitively? Or
No,
just...
I only played like local LAN. I never played
Yeah.
online.
Did Warcraft 2
versus
have
other
online?
people.
Yeah.
It did. I don't know if it had it right away, if it was with the battle chest. The ones we had, I'm sure we could have, but I think we needed like better internet to be able to do that. But locally, we could play, and it would be smooth. So
Was that when Battle.net came out, or was that Diablo, maybe?
Battle.net came out with
I
the
don't know.
chest. With the chest, I think. It came out prior to that. I'm not 100% sure.
I have a specific memory. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it wasn't with you. We set up a local area network. We were on a road trip,
Oh, yes.
and we would
LAN?
set it up inside the car. We would bring like a switch and like a
St.
router.
George like that one time.
And we played Warcraft 2, I think, in a car locally,
That's
which
awesome.
was yeah.
You
it
guys
was-
had laptops or something?
yeah, we had
That's
laptops
awesome.
and
It
we
was
had
all
like a
set up in a
generator, like a
power
DC
inverter?
converter. Yeah, it was awesome. It was
Or
so
like
loud.
a power strip.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, it was
It was
pretty.
hot in the car.
Yeah, it was, and the fan on this thing was like. It was awesome.
If you turn the car off without turning off everything else, you just immediately kill the battery.
Yeah, we got to keep going.
Yeah.
Keep driving.
That's awesome.
LA, keep it going. San Francisco.
All right, so that was everybody's number 3. Now we're in the real. See,
I actually think these were easier to do. 1 and
Yeah.
2 was easier than 3, 4, and 5.
My one was easy. The other one's not so much.
Okay, so since I started with number 3, let's start with Gerald. Hasn't started yet. Let's do what's your number 2, Gerald?
My number 2 game came out in 2007 from Bungie. It's Halo 3.
Excellent choice.
Halo had to be on your list. I would
Of
be
course.
mad if Halo was on your list.
After all, now are you talking? Do you have fond memories of the campaign, or is it just online?
I mean, I obviously played the campaign, enjoyed it a lot, but I don't know. There's no other multiplayer game I've ever played that have gotten me ups and downs. Either I'm at a 10 because we're just having so much fun playing zombies, chasing each other and stuff, or I'm at a 1 and I'm hating life because I got sniped or something and I just suck at this game.
Yeah.
But just like I've played more of that game than I probably have in any multiplayer game. I've had more fun playing that game. I've had more frustration playing that game. It's just
Halo makes me mad. That game makes me. I curse a lot. when
Same
I
here.
play Halo. I love it, but I curse a lot.
But the highs and just like all of, I mean, yeah, we haven't played with you obviously, but like I played with Chuck, I played with David, I played with so many of our friends playing together. It's just so much fun, that game.
What made you pick 3?
Just the multi, because I wasn't a big Halo 2 guy. I didn't have original
See,
Xbox.
Halo 2.
Halo 2.
That was ours,
It was
yeah.
my 6. It didn't make it on there.
That's what it was for most of you, but I didn't have an original Xbox,
Yeah.
so I started with the 360.
And
so
I
that's why it's
remember Halo 2 being like the one that we played in college all the time. But
Yeah.
3 got rid of dual wielding, right?
Right.
That's what I didn't like. I loved the dual wielding. They got rid of that.
Yeah, but they brought Forge with 3.
I
Yeah.
know the Forge was a big argument in my head about which one to pick.
oh,
Forge
like-
is excellent. Zombies and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Brains. You know, us chasing around
That
and
was
stuff
so
with the
much fun.
swords.
Sharks versus zombies.
Yeah,
that sort of
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it was
Oh.
awesome. So much fun.
Is that where they run in jetpacks and the
No,
shield? and
one
that
is like
stuff?
super fast with a sword, and then everyone else has a shotgun. But it's like they have no
No,
shields.
I know, but in Halo, I'm just saying, in Halo 3 in general, is that the one that started with the jet, where you could have
Like
a
the
jetpack
loadout?
with the different things?
No, it's
'Cause
Halo
2
4.
didn't have that.
4 had the jetpacks.
Did Reach have that, maybe?
No,
Reach
Maybe
might
Reach,
have.
but
'Cause I had
was
Reach
Reach.
in 3. I had a 360. They just lost lost me when they got to Xbox One.
But also, I mean, I think 3 is essentially when we stopped doing LAN parties. Because I remember we did 2 with LAN parties.
That's what kind of sucked about the internet. I have to say, it kind of ruined LAN parties because like it used to be a lot of fun to get your friends together and we'd all bring our computers over. Well, I'd borrow someone's computer.
Yeah.
I couldn't bring one over.
Yeah, but you know how
it
busy
was-
you are now.
yeah,
That would be
that
so
wouldn't work
difficult to
now.
pull off these days.
But
Yeah,
I know what you're
know.
saying. Like, you miss,
It's different though. It was like okay, like before you got a car. Remember, like everybody would just come to your house and you just walk all over the place.
Yeah.
and it was it was so much fun. You're just walking
had
around,
a
and then
bike.
it was like cars showed up, and it was like it's awesome to be able to go anywhere you want.
How old are you?
But like I miss being able to just walking around with your friends, like because you get in more crazy situations.
Yeah,
when you're just
shenanigans.
Walking,
Yeah.
walking around. I don't know. It was I miss the quaintness.
Yeah,
It was
not
like,
gonna have that anymore.
Me and Chuck lived in a house, and we had this big 3-car garage. But one of the spots was held with like a boat that my mom's friend had this boat that it was in our house, and it was like in the way, but like it made the garage quaint, and we would all hang out in this like extra little space. One day, the boat, because we practically ruined it, but
We scratched the crap out of it.
the boat, and the owner of the boat wanted it back, and they were like, "Oh, sorry about the scratches," but so they took the boat out, and then it was like, "Oh, we have more space," and I was like, "Ah, ruined our quaintness." I like quaint. I like
Cozy.
it when it was.
That's why you like this. We're all
Yeah,
Yeah, we're all
quaint right now.
close. This is great.
I enjoy that part, and I think LAN parties was quaint. Like it was cool.
No, I get that.
And then when you brought the internet, we're bringing a bunch of 12-year-olds who are better than me at a game I've been playing for 4.
Well, that's why you
And,
play online, but you just play with your friends.
Yeah.
It is harder though.
I'm
I get
just
what you're saying.
I
Yeah.
miss
See,
those days.
that's exactly why I like board games. As Vanna White, the behind us. That's I've come to love board games because it has that quaintness. You have to sit down at a table. You can't do it over the
Right.
internet because seeing the look on your friend's face or hearing them scream, from down the hallway
Exactly.
was so much fun. And you would take breaks, like when everyone's eyes were completely bloodshot, and you would come into the kitchen and talk about what just happened. Like, you don't do that anymore.
Or you run in and punch your friend
Yeah.
because he just killed you, and you're just sitting like, I loved that.
Go unplug it.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. Just unplug their controller. They're like, "What's going on? Oh, you're cheating!"
Yeah, so much fun, so much fun. All right.
So that's my number 2.
All right, Jordan, what is your number 2?
Number 2 is what probably you guys thought would be my number 1, but Ocarina of Time,
Oh,
Legend of Zelda. I loved that game so much. I played so much of that game, and it was the first game that I went out and the day it came out, and I actually got it. I don't know how I convinced my parents to take me out to Target at like 8:00 on a school night to go buy that game, but I did, and it was amazing. And I just remember my best friend came over that day, Travis, and we just sat in front of Mark, and he did not want to go home, and we just played like the full first level, and his mom kept calling, "Where's Travis?" And I'm like, "He's busy, leave us alone." I was like, "We got school. Like, I don't care about school right now. We got things going on." This game was amazing. We would just like every time we run into things that were problems of puzzles and this and that, we like at school we talking about it. Did you get to the water temple yet? Like it would be so. It was just so exciting.
We even had that. I remember when Wind Waker came out, me and you had we were trying to see who could finish the game first.
Right.
And I think one of our classes, we had something come up that the other person wasn't in. And I was like, oh, he's going to beat me because I have this stupid project to do. But yeah, definitely that just keep moving and keep talking about what's the next thing. What's the next thing?
We wouldn't want to share with each other like, "Oh, where you found that key."
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I don't know.
I'm like, I can't get out of this temple. You're like, well, I don't know how to get out of it.
Epona was awesome. Like riding a horse around. Like I
Yeah.
loved that. It was so cool. You go around so fast. I don't know. It just again, N64 is like the most revolutionary system for us, so we never done anything like it. But yeah, just being able to travel quickly like that, and even just playing the songs that were available.
Yeah, I mean, the music in that
collecting the
game
music was awesome. I literally had the Princess Zelda song was in my wedding. Like
I remember
Nice.
that.
That was so awesome.
I remember we
Yeah.
were there, and I'm like, I take a
Yeah.
second, I'm listening, I turn to my wife, I'm like, this is from Zelda. And
Yeah,
she's like,
I
of course
had
it is. Of course it
That's
is.
had
so
a
awesome.
remixed Princess Zelda song.
Yeah, like the
playing
violin
as we
version.
walked out
It's a
because I
harp.
was like, it feels like I won the game, and that's the song that plays at the end of the game. And I'm like, I won the
Aw, I'm
game,
gonna
got
tear
a
up
beautiful
here.
wife here.
Aw,
And
she needs to listen to this episode now.
No, she won't. But either way, Zelda's a huge part of my life, and that was the best Zelda game I ever played. I loved it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure it's always highly rated on all of the lists. When I was doing, looking up, top 10 games like from Slant and Slant.com and IGN, that's always at the
There's
very
just
top.
so much to do too.
Yeah.
You could keep playing it over
huge.
and over. It's
The walking distance, the
huge.
first time you go like walking out into the
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
that- like we probably wouldn't have GTA if there wasn't that.
Yeah.
You know, because that was the beginning of these huge
Open world, giant.
open
Yeah.
world that you could just go places. I mean, they blocked it in weird ways, like some guy standing.
Yeah,
in
it
the
was still
way.
technically
Right.
linear, but yeah.
Right, but I mean, but you can beat it in totally weird ways. Like
Now it's-
you don't have to.
We already
beat
talked
it.
about you beating it with just a bottle, right?
Right, but
You
like
need a bug.
even the like okay, once you become an adult, like you get to choose which levels you go to because like well, you have to get the right tools. But like I would go into the forest temple, get my longer shot, and then leave and never finish it, and then go to the water temple and get whatever tool I wanted there, and then leave. And
So it
like,
had choice.
So you didn't have to actually beat it in that order
That's
if you
cool.
didn't want to.
Yeah, and
There's
that's
certain places you can't. You can't get to the Shadow Temple until you do some certain things. But you were able to kind of make your own path if you knew what you were doing. You had to play it through linear the first time, otherwise you have no idea what to do.
all right. So that was your number 2. Chuck, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Excellent.
Nice.
That was probably an honorable mention for me. That was
Yeah,
that
same
was
here. That was
teetering on the
almost on
I
my
five.
mean, the GameCube one was just the epitome of it. I mean,
Why-
I remember on the 64 when it came
That
out,
was-
and it was like, wow, like you're fighting Mario and Luigi and Donkey Kong, and then Melee just took it to a whole nother
Yeah.
place. I mean, it got so much just smoother. It looked great. I mean, you never seen Mario like that. They never really made a Link like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Even today. I mean, well, I guess kind of the Skyward Sword, sort of.
and
looks like
definitely
that,
no
yeah.
Samus. There was never really a Samus 3D like that. Even when it came out, it was finally a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Oh,
for
when Prime
Metroid.
came out,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you know, just spending hours fighting as the same people over and over and
Yeah.
over, just enjoying it every time.
That game, more than any of the fighting games, had that feeling of you're this close to winning every single match. You know what I mean? A lot of games that, specifically when we would play you, like if I played Madden against you, there was no chance. I think one time I played you and I played as like the best team and you played as like the worst, and I won by like a point. And
That
I,
was NFL 2K.
Yeah, one of
Worst
those.
teams against Chuck is not even fair.
Yeah, but but
like-
mostly all games are like that.
But combining Chuck's two main, like he knows everything about sports and everything about video games. You play sports video games, you don't have a chance. Melee, I have a chance. As
Right,
Falco.
and that's what I'm saying is like it didn't it because it was kind of it had that button mashing. You could have fun playing it, not knowing anything, and then there was definitely strategy involved in that. But I just remember that game. It was so tenseful. I don't think that's a word. So tense, so intense that every single match felt like I had a chance to win. And I played as Mario. That was my guy.
Dude, Jigglypuff all the way.
Jigglypuff?
Chuck plays as Jigglypuff. I hate it when
I like to be
Chuck plays
annoying as Jigglypuff.
Yeah, same here.
But I'm a Link person. That's who I roll with, is Link.
Yeah, I think my other guy was probably Yoshi. I just never went away from Mario. It's kind of a toss up there, but yeah, that game is fantastic, and I think that we played that a ton. I remember playing that just so much.
So much.
But that didn't have an online component, right?
No.
no, not
So
yet.
again, that's why I think that game was right time, right place, right time. Because I remember playing that on a couch.
I remember playing that to the point where I literally would fall asleep mid jump. Like
Oh,
I would
yes.
I would
remember him
play.
doing
Well,
that
of
all the
course
time.
I fall asleep all the time. I can't help myself. But I would be mid jump and I would just pass out. And they'd be like, and then they just, what happened to Jordan's character? Like Falco is doing nothing right now, and I'd just be passed out on the couch.
I remember one of the unlocks was like you had to have the game on for like a certain amount of hours continuously. So we would just like
Leave
leave
it
it
on
on and
overnight.
just. It's ridiculous. Why don't games do that anymore? Anyways.
I remember you have friends who'd be like, pick somebody else. Stop being the same person.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't do it that way anymore because they can charge you $5 and you get to unlock their character.
Yeah, there's more and more of that. I think, though, the good thing about what online has done with, like, secret characters is because they don't want to divide up the online component, everybody gets, like, the character for free, and then there's other things you can unlock. I don't know.
See, I like the first couple Smash Brothers because it was harder to get the secret characters, and now it's just like every 10 times you play a melee, you get a free character. So I would just play like everybody on like 300%, one life, 300% damage, and then I just hit them once and until I free all the characters up.
That's the other reason I like that game. It wasn't a health bar. You could technically win with having 300% damage. You know what I mean?
They
Like you,
changed the game.
right? Yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, definitely a good game. It was
Smash
on.
Brothers should have made the list. There's 6.
Yeah, exactly.
We're doing a 6 through 10 list one day. I'm
We
telling
should.
you.
We totally should
6
go
through 10.
backwards.
There's so many great games. I had like 25 games. You make me pick 5. I hate it.
All right, my number 2. My number 2 game of all time, Fallout New Vegas. Now, I know
Wow.
most people would pick Fallout 3. Fallout New Vegas has there's a couple reasons specifically to me. One, we live in Las Vegas.
It is cool seeing like the locations, like Nipton. I don't know,
Yeah, there's like, we've actually been to Nipton. We took our engagement photos at Nipton or Minden or whatever. You know, these small little towns. And like, there's a part where you go to the giant solar panel farm in the game, and there's a giant solar panel farm right next to State Line. So it has a special place because of that. But again, the mechanics were the same as Fallout 3. I don't think they even changed anything. Wayne Newton is the person who's over the radio. Awesome. The music felt more, it played like Fly Me to the Moon. It played more, Vegas centric, I think of like lounge music. And then when you get to New Vegas, like all the casinos
the
and
stratosphere.
Yeah, it's so cool. So it has a special place just because of the location. Obviously the game is amazing, but I love Fallout's ridiculous storytelling. I'm so excited for 4 because the game, the stories in those games, and this is kind of going back to the games that I love now. I go to games for narrative, honestly. Like I look to games to tell a great story where Mario, Zelda, those games, maybe Zelda, some people might argue with me, but Mario, it's Save the Princess. There's no narrative built into it. It's all gameplay and it's great mechanics, but like I played Mario Galaxy. I'm not a big fan of it because it doesn't tell a narrative anymore. I look to Fallout, I look to
there's zero story in Mario
Half-Life.
Galaxy.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is like those are the games that I look for. Those are my favorite games right now, because they provide that narrative. That's why I think Fallout New Vegas it's always Fallout 4. I'm sure will be probably.
Dude, I'm gonna be gone when Fallout 4 comes out. I'm just gonna stop talking to everybody for like 2 months.
We're gonna have to get a new details guy for those episodes.
Yeah, I'm like, sorry guys, I can't play Fallout 4.
Well, I
guess
feel
my what you doing is gonna be for the next 2 months. Fallout 4.
I hope you're available, Chuck.
All right, so that's my number 2. Okay, that's everyone's number 2. We've gone through everyone's number 2. Okay,
so.
Drum roll. You guys can pound on the table. It's okay. All right, there we go. Number 1.
Can I go first?
Sure.
I don't want to but
okay. Gerald's number 1 game of all time is
Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Yeah,
that's what I want to say really quick. So, pretty much everything you said. I mean, it's the first big adventure. I mean, I played Zeldas before that.
Yeah.
Link's Awakening, obviously the original ones on the NES, Link to the Past. But man, that game is so good. Just the big open world, seeing it for the first time. I played Mario 64 before that, but when you're walking, like you said, after you talk to the owl, hopefully you didn't press A again, and you walk into that field for the first time, you're like, holy crap, this is humongous.
And then when it would go night and all the skeletons start coming out, and you're like, I
just got my sword. What are you doing?
Right?
Like,
yeah.
Oh, that game is just awesome. And then
so exciting.
Like you said, talking to your friends about like, wait, you have 5 hearts? I only have 4. Oh, you didn't get the heart pieces, man. You got to get these heart pieces, and talking about different strategies and all that kind of stuff. And
did you backflip through the area? I always felt like backflip.
It was always faster.
So I'd turn around and I'd backflip through everything. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you move more quickly when you backflip.
To be. I don't know if it really.
I've done that in a couple games where you roll. You constantly roll just because it feels like you're going
feels
fast.
better.
That's funny.
And the time travel mechanic is probably the best time travel I've seen in any video game, where it's just completely different. It's the same exact places, but it's just different how it's changed. And
all the beans, you gotta throw the beans down and grow like plants.
And then you time travel, and now it's a plant.
Yeah,
it's just,
that's super
stuff
cool.
like that is just amazing.
Yeah, and I remember recently I saw a video. Someone 3D rendered, I think with the VR headset, the entire scene of what I forget the specific.
Oh, they rendered it in Unreal 4 engine.
Yeah,
it looked
Unreal engine.
gorgeous. I'm like, please make this game.
It'll never happen, but
I know.
It looks great.
It is really, really cool. But so real quick, obviously, I don't think Majora's Mask is going to be yours or yours.
No.
So, I'm not a huge Zelda is not my number 1. Why is Ocarina? Was it a better game, or is it just Majora's Mask had different
Majora's
components?
Mask was a worse game.
No, that's not true. But it was very
Majora's
very
Mask
different.
was hard as hell
It's
for
hard.
one.
It's completely different in Zelda.
dark
That's
as
what
hell.
I like about it.
And
though.
it's so dark.
But it's also frustrating because if you didn't get to a point in that, so in that game, there's actual time, and it's 3 days, and at 3 days the world ends. So if you don't get to like a checkpoint within those 3 days, you have to start over. And you do
start from day one.
Well, like you played a song to reverse time back into the first
But
day.
and then you got songs later on be like, you can jump to day, you can jump a day, right? So you're like, if I miss something on day 3, you can at least jump to the 3rd day.
Right. But if you didn't get like a temple completed in those 3 days, then you just had to start the temple back over.
I think
not just that, but like to get all the masks, which was obviously a big part of the game.
Super difficult.
Oh my god! Like the mask trading stuff, you have to get a very specific. Like this post guy running from this point to this point, and you have to get there at a very specific time.
That's what's awesome about it, though.
Yeah, it's a great
because
game.
it changed the whole thing that everybody just they have a routine instead of they're just standing in one spot. They're doing stuff. You know?
There was a fourth dimension to that game, which was cool because Legend of Zelda added the third dimension to Zelda's game, and Majora's Mask added the fourth dimension of time. Even though there was time travel in Zelda, I mean, in Ocarina of Time, it wasn't an active time where it didn't matter if you were either an adult or a kid, and they were two, standard times. Majora's Mask was dynamic. It moved as
people were living in the world.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, see, the one thing one of the mechanics I hate of most games is that ticking clock. You have to get something done in a certain amount. It just creates unnecessary tension.
That's what it's for, though. Is attention.
I know, but that's why when I remember hearing about the game, I was like, nope, not for me. But I was just interested to find out why that game is not considered highly ranked as it is compared to Ocarina.
It felt more repetitive. It felt more repetitive than Ocarina of Time did.
Definitely.
Ocarina of Time didn't feel repetitive at all. Everything felt new and fresh, especially because it was coming off of the first 3D Zelda game. And Majora's Mask just kind of, you do something and then you go back in time and you see the same things. And maybe your goal is different this time, but you're going through the same motions at first and you're seeing the same
bad
scenes,
guys,
the same this and that. And so it just felt like you kept living. It felt like Groundhog's Day Zelda. And you're doing, you know what I'm saying? You're doing something different.
That's the mechanic.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. You're progressing through the game and you've got new skills. You can get to new places and stuff, but it felt like Groundhog's Day.
The game.
Man, it's dark. That story.
It's a dark story.
Dark.
A lot of people think he died in it,
It was fun, though. I mean, it was a good game. I remember actually, to play that game, I borrowed your expansion pack because I didn't have one.
Pack to play
so he let me borrow the game and the expansion.
I remember
that was the first day I was like,
it was a memory expansion you had
Kong.
to have.
Yeah. Oh, you had to have additional memory for this game?
Yep. And I remember thinking, man, Chuck is the coolest guy in the world because he not only let me borrow this game, but he let me borrow the expansion pack, which means you can't play any other game that needs an expansion pack until I give it back.
Did it go on the back of the controller, like the rumble?
No, it went into the front of the
cartridge.
We actually had a couple of them because
that's why I let him borrow.
Okay. Blockbuster, you could rent Donkey Kong 64 and it came with it. So we would just take...
you would just keep it. All right, well, you're the reason they went out of business, Chuck.
We got Rumble packs from
now.
Star Fox.
Did you buy? You said you bought Ocarina of Time, right?
Yeah, first day.
Gold or
no?
You didn't get a gold one.
I had a gold.
I mean, that was like.
I regret trading those in to this day, but I had the gold one. I had the gold of the NES one. I had the gold Majora's Mask.
And you trade all those in?
Yeah.
Oh, that is shameful. See all these systems here?
Yeah.
Nothing gets traded in from Mr.
Yeah, these
Peterson.
are all Jordan.
I was only a kid. But
including clearly the yellow
yellow Super Nintendo, but everything else is pretty minty.
Well, they said it's different plastic. So again, this is great. This is all visual stuff that people on the podcast
you have to come look at the YouTube video if you want to get these great visual effects.
All right. Well, that's
my number one.
Okay.
So whoever wants to go next, I just needed to.
You want me to go?
Go ahead, buddy.
My number one. No surprise to you two. I'm glad Chuck's here because maybe he's actually played it. My number one game of all time, Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation 1. Absolutely my favorite game of all time. When we did this list, I already knew what my number one was going to be. Easy. And I'm sure you guys knew as well.
Easy.
Yeah, we knew that.
That game has such a
it's come
powerful.
Up like 7 times on the podcast.
I know. All I ever talk about is Metal Gear.
We all knew.
Yeah. No, but it's something about that game with being able, again, going back to telling narratives and things like that. It had the ability to tell such a great story with not believable, but interesting characters. It had a component of when like one of the characters dies, Sniper Wolf, like I almost started tearing up. Like it had those moments that felt like a movie. It was the first game that had the feeling of like games can do more than, although Final Fantasy had it a little bit. I forget which one it was. One of the ones that traded over. Anyways, but the mechanics, I even told you guys where you had to like unplug from one port into the other port.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
So that the
Psycho Mantis.
Yeah, Psycho Mantis.
You read your save file and everything,
Yeah,
awesome. Talking about that.
Yeah, and like there's another part where you have to call someone on a codec and you have to call their frequency, and they're like, you're like, I don't know their frequency. It's all printed on the back of the game. That's the only way it's printed. That's where you had to find it.
It's in the instruction booklet. I think.
No, it was actually on the back. Like like they had snapshots of the
case?
game. Yeah, on the case. And
that's right.
Yeah, you had to call Meryl. Yeah, it was Meryl. It was like 1480 something.
And do they tell you to do
no.
that?
Well, eventually they tell you. Like if you spend an hour trying to figure it out, then they're like, maybe you want to look at the back of the game, which is kind of funny that the game
pop like stop being stupid, figure it out. Here you go.
Yeah. But that game just had so many unique, and of course it spawned this amazing series. One funny story. And this is way back when I was dating my wife. You know when you date somebody and this is way back in the day, you'd stay on the phone for like all night.
Of course, yeah.
I don't want to just tell me if...
So say
Did you
goodbye.
fall asleep? No, I'm
You
still
sound-
awake. I'm still awake.
You
Okay,
say
so I did this with my wife Alyssa, and we're sitting on the phone, and she's like, "Tell me a story. Tell me something I don't know about you." And I was like, "Have you ever heard of the game Metal Gear Solid?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Let me tell you a story." I told
Hope
her.
you're not tired.
I told her the entire Metal Gear, like Gray Fox, the Ninja, the Liquid Snake, everything. And then like she was like, "Oh, what is this like a movie?" I'm like, "No, it's a game." She's like, "That's a game." And then to this day, I'm like, "You remember when I told you that?" She's like, "Yeah, she remembers everything." She's like, "Oh yeah, Gray Fox was in Zanzibar Land and then became the Ninja, the Cyborg." And I'm like, "How do you remember all this?" It's awesome. So again, that's my favorite game of all time is Metal Gear Solid, and it spawned my favorite series of all time. So my number one game, easy. All right, Chuck.
I'll go. So mine is Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Oh, wow.
I'm a classic man. I love the old Zeldas. People are gonna hate me for saying this. I think Ocarina of Time is overrated. I don't love the puzzles in it.
Don't even get me
Sometimes I
started.
think a matter of having a bow and arrow and seeing something on the wall and knowing to shoot it. How's that a puzzle? I mean,
Yeah,
I
you
do
can do
love
that Link to the
Ocarina of
Past.
Time. I do. It's not that I don't love it. Just
But the hook
Link to
shot
Past-
and like being able, like you had certain material items you could only hook shot to. You couldn't just hook shot to anything.
Okay. We're gonna have a nerd fight here.
I'm just saying, like only wood. You can just hook shot into some stone. Okay.
And I mean, arguably the time travel, they already did it with the Dark and Light world.
true,
It's
yeah.
very, very similar.
The mirror,
way that whole
right?
works. Yeah, you had the mirror where you could go back and forth. I mean, the first Zelda was so amazing, and then they added a story in the second,
Yeah.
in Legend of, or in Link to the Past. I remember getting a Master Sword. You walking down, and there's animals coming out
Yeah.
of the bushes, and you
like
got
that
your
scene
little
from Snow
squirrel
White,
and
yeah.
bunny. Yeah, you like really felt epic to get this sword. It was great. And then you go and beat what's it, Angheim? I don't even know how to say that.
The first game, right?
Yeah. And then the whole thing goes to the Dark World, and it's a whole brand new game for you.
Yeah.
A lot of people complain that it held your hand a little bit, because it did. It told you where all the pendants were and stuff, but the amount of secrets involved with it to get all the hearts, to get all the...
Yeah.
I remember trying to figure out how to get the flute. You had to get the shovel, and that guy would appear on the tree stump, and
Yeah.
it was awesome. I mean...
Those
I
are-
remember seeing it at Toys R Us, like a video of it before it came out, and all the cannonballs coming out as you're going through the level. It's my
yeah.
favorite.
Get the
game.
Pegasus boots.
I can
right?
play it all day. Yeah, you had to knock the book off of the shelf. I mean,
Yeah.
I can just walk through the whole game right now if we wanted to.
See, I feel bad because like I didn't have an SNES growing up, so I played that game on an emulator after the game came out, or after I
Yeah,
played
years
probably
and
Ocarina
years
of Time.
and years and
years.
years.
I feel so bad because that game is so good. Not as good as Ocarina of Time, but anyway, it's so good, and I feel bad that I didn't get to play it when it first came out.
I'm in the same boat as you, Gerald. Never
Yeah.
had an SNES, so I don't have the memories to join it. I did play it later on an emulator. It was a great game, and even the newer version of that game on the 3DS, whatever that new one's called, it's like the same.
Between
it's like
Worlds.
A Link
Yeah,
Between Worlds. It's
that
like
is
a
so
similar
good.
style. I mean, it's the
it's a
same map.
sequel. It is. It's a
yeah.
sequel to it.
And it was a great game too. But because Ocarina of Time was my introduction. No, I played the Zelda on regular Nintendo first, but my introduction to a story matched with it.
To Hyrule,
Plus,
Yeah.
because I never played the SNES one first, the time travel thing was brand new to me. I didn't
Exactly,
know, it
same
wasn't a brand new thing to me. So, there's some nostalgia and some love that is beyond the game involved in Ocarina of Time.
Right.
But I wish I would have played it at that time too. I wish I would have known you when we were 8
so you can
instead
borrow
of
your
16, so I could come over and play it. But we didn't meet until
I
we
like
were
it if
older.
we had like a time machine. You'd do like one, like go back, kill Hitler, and then two, go hang out with Chuck.
I would have
when you're 8
met
years old.
Chuck at a much earlier age. That would have been a goal of mine.
That's awesome. Great. That's an excellent pick. And that's actually, I think, one of the oldest games that we've had on this list so far. I think did anybody have a Nintendo game?
Let's
No.
see. No, Warcraft 2 may have been up.
No, I
before.
think the Super Nintendo was before that.
That one.
Anyways, Jordan, what
Yeah,
is your
you're probably right.
what is your number one game?
Mine is a game you guys may have never even heard of. It's called Legend of Legaia.
Yes, I've heard of it.
you
Never
like
heard
that
of it.
one? Okay, PlayStation 1 game. It is a turn-based RPG, and
So right up your alley, Gerald.
absolutely love this game. So my introduction to this game, I was over at a friend's house, and his older brother. It's funny because I just ran into this older brother's wife today at Target and talked to her for a while.
Wow.
But it's just
Small world.
coincidental.
Yeah, that's weird.
But I remember watching him play this, and it was so exciting. I wanted to play, but he was not going to let me play. But it was just so exciting to watch this. And then when I got my hands on this game, I just couldn't let it go. It's just your typical turn-based, except for you actually got to tell which your moves are. You didn't just select punch. You actually got to do a combination. So you do like left arm, right arm, leg. Oh, wow. And then up, down. There are different combinations, and if you chose the correct combinations, you get a super move.
Right.
And then you
against
memorize
that specific enemy.
Moves. No, not against the enemy.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like a Street Fighter thing.
Up, down is like hyper kick, but you wouldn't know that unless you tried up, down. So it encouraged you to try all these different combinations because you'd unlock them, and then at first you could only do like 3 moves, like 2 kicks and a punch if you wanted, or whatever it is. And then but as you grow, you get this longer combinations you could do, and you could do like 8 moves.
That's awesome.
So it'd be like up kick, down kick, right left, up kick, right, and it would be this super crazy hyper punch kick combo roundabout. You're like Chuck Norris out there.
Yeah.
And you're just getting these really cool moves. It also had the aspect like in Final Fantasy where you could bring in like your extra creatures to attack. So you had like magic that you could, and it was kind of like the red mage, where as you fought people, you could absorb them, and then they became one of the characters you could be.
Oh, interesting.
So you could turn into bad guys and use them against other bad guys for the battles. It was a super huge map, which in PlayStation 1 they were able to do some awesome things with maps, just make huge worlds. I just loved this game to death. I played it like a year ago all over again, and I loved it all over again. There was 3 main characters you could be, and then they each had like I think it was called a Suru, which was like their magic piece, the arm piece that they could talk to and stuff. And it was just an incredible game.
Who made this game?
The details guy. Come on, bro.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't have a PlayStation either.
It was probably Square Enix. It was one of the like JRPG.
It was just
stuff.
Square, I think, at the time.
Oh, that's back then, yeah.
Yeah, so they were just battling the mist. There were like arenas. It was just like the same stuff you see these days with the Final Fantasy games and stuff. But it was like the first version that I was introduced to. I just love that game. It's not a popular game, but it's the best.
I gotta look that up.
Now, I asked the community, and basically, a lot of the same games that we've already said they've picked. Ocarina of Time, I think, was picked like 3 or 4 times.
Well, it should be.
Out of the time. What's interesting, though, is that I don't think any of us picked did anyone pick an NES game, a classic Nintendo game? No. I didn't.
Let me look at my list again. I don't think I did.
I mean, I figured Super Mario Brothers 3 was going to be on someone's list. And it's specifically on here.
See, I have a list. The way I made my list is I took the 5. I took NES, SNES, N64, PlayStation, and PC games, and I took 5 of each of my favorite of those.
Yeah.
Super Mario 3 was my favorite of the NES games.
But it didn't make the top 5.
But it doesn't make the top 5 of all games ever.
So here's a couple other interesting ones here. Super Mario RPG.
That was if we would have done Super Nintendo, that would have been on there.
Okay.
That's number 2 on my Super Nintendo list.
And then, I mean, basically on here again, Half-Life 1, people also talking about Counterstrike. So, I mean, a lot of the same games. I think what's interesting, and this is what I was actually doing when I was going through this list, one thing you didn't mention, arcade games. I thought about this. What about The Simpsons? I played that game so much. I loved that game. The beat-em-up Simpsons game. Or X-Men.
X-Men, yeah.
Mine was but Street Fighter 2.
Arcade games never held my attention for long, because obviously you're limited by the amount of money.
Me and Gerald were poor.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, Time Crisis 2 was
bro.
like, I probably spent tens of dollars on Time Crisis 2 at Blackbeard's in Clovis, California. And it's just, they were fun while you're playing it, but not enough where you're sitting there for hours at home with this game.
Yeah. Now, another question I had is, do you guys consider pinball machines video games? Because I was talking about this with my wife today.
No.
Why?
No.
Because there's no video.
Yeah, where's the video at?
Well, there's a little screen that you type in your initials.
Your score?
No.
Might as well be just like
Does
basketball.
that mean, basketball, exactly. Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's
scoreboard.
totally different skill. I mean, there's obviously skill involved with those games, but it's a lot different than
Now, there are some video game pinball games that I would count.
Yes.
There was
Devil's
a
Crush,
pinball game that came with like Windows 98 or
Windows
something.
XP.
Video game board
And
games.
that was
Yeah.
exciting and fun to play, but no, not in general. A real pinball machine it's a pinball game, not a video game.
It was a form of gambling at one point.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
You know they were banned for like years. It's
Pinball
like
machines?
the 80s.
Until it was determined that
how they lived
skills
in the band.
involved.
It's not that long ago, really, that pinball's legal to play.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. All right. Well, that's okay. Before we kind of wrap up, do you think there's any game? I think Fallout 4 will probably be somewhere in the top 10 from what I've seen. Is there any game on the horizon that you guys think will crack your top 5? anytime soon. I know Jordan's probably hard, right? Because you.
I don't play. Well, I don't have any of the new systems except 3DS. I'm happy that the new 3DS comes. I want to play the new Zelda, but I don't think it'll be anywhere close to Ocarina of Time or anything. I hope there's a Zelda game in the future.
Well, they're developing one for the Wii U.
Yeah, I will probably buy a Wii U or
Just
borrow someone's Wii U to play that game. But yeah, I hope there's a Zelda that beats it. But no, not for me.
I mean, they have had Skyward Sword.
I played
Twilight
every.
Princess. They were all good, but not nearly as good.
As good.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not gonna say never, but
It's
as
hard.
you get older, like it changes things.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have the time to do it like you used to. That
And you don't have
I
the.
don't know.
Oh my
yeah,
god!
it would take something.
Well, that's why I think VR might do it.
And yeah, I mean,
Maybe.
like I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna say no, but I'd have to lean towards no
like
for
the
sure.
Oculus or something. If
Yeah.
something totally absorbs you and it's something we've never seen before, but it's hard to bring that to us from, like I said, like N64 is where a lot of my favorite games come from because we never seen anything like it.
Yeah, and it was
Right.
graphics was a big
And-
thing back then, and now graphics like everything looks great.
Right.
That's what I was trying to say. And a lot of my games, I think the oldest game on my list was 1998. So I have all those fond memories, but they've been replaced by this period of time because I think even Fallout New Vegas was 2010. I mean, that's not that long ago, and I think Fallout 4 is probably going to overtake Fallout New Vegas just because from what I've seen. But there are games that I've played now, like Last of Us. I think someone from the community also said Last of Us. It's a fantastic game, but I wouldn't want to play it again. It was like watching like 12 Years a Slave. Like you don't want to, or like Schindler's List. You don't want to keep watching that movie. Like you see it once, it's great, but it's like, man, I gotta take a break. You know what I mean? So that's why those games, for some reason, they're great narrative, but I just can't put them on the list just because of I can't.
That was
replay
why
them.
Myst didn't make the list for me.
I was surprised you didn't have really any point and click games.
No, well, it's so hard. I do have a couple of my Kyrandia, Hand of Fate was on my list of in the PC games, but you can't. You have to have Mario 64. You have to have Ocarina of Time. You have to have, for me, Legend of Legaia. I mean, I live for that game. I remember going to Oregon with my family, and my cousin had that Legend of Legaia game, and I just sat. Everyone else was out like camping and having fun, and I was sitting in the bedroom playing Legend of Legaia. I love that game. So those games have to make the list in my book. So it made some other ones fall off. But the reason Myst didn't really make it, I took it out kind of last minute, was because I can't play it again.
You've already know the puzzle.
Yeah, I know.
You
And
can
that was
just do it in the beginning.
I mean, if we hit you
I
in the
can do it
head
in like
hard
5
enough,
minutes, right? And yeah, I can beat that game in literally 5 minutes. And it came. I think I was like 94. I think that's even older.
That's
than
early.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
that's
an
early
old game. But they're coming out with a new one, which is exciting. The makers of the Cyan, the people who used to work for Cyan,
They're gonna come
look
out
at
and make
that.
it?
I knew a manufacturer name. No, I just saw on the Kickstarter. They kickstarted a new game, and they're coming out with something that's called like Obstruction or Obscure or something. I don't know. I didn't pay that much attention. But I'm excited to play a new version of Myst. Anything that's Myst related, I'm excited to play. But to play it, you can't play them more than once.
Right.
And so that's why they fell off my list.
Yeah, like I said, there's a bunch of games that definitely would have. I think the gap between 5 and like 9 is not as great as between 5 and 1. You know what I mean? So like I think we should actually do
6 or 10.
We're
I'm
going to do a
telling
6
you,
or
it's
10
gonna
and
be
go
awesome.
opposite as everybody.
It's gonna be awesome.
That's how contrarian we are. All right. Well, that's our top 5 video games of all time. Taken months to prepare. No, I'm just kidding. Well,
It was hard though. It was very difficult.
I challenge anybody to make their own 5. Actually, you know what? In the YouTube comments, if this video goes up, which I'm hoping it does, put your top 5 video games of all time. Put them in the comments down below. I can actually point down below. That's what I'm doing on the podcast. And definitely subscribe to our channel. Check us out. We have a podcast. It's on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud. And before we wrap up, I want to give another special thanks to 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten, our sponsor. Check out all their great stuff at 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten. And thanks for listening, viewers. Bye.
See ya.
Later.
Enjoy yourself.